Can't hear you. You're on mute. Can't hear you.
What happened to me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. We're on. So I want to welcome you to Weaving Kashmiri Women's Resistance Embroidery and Storytelling Workshop. We're very happy to have you join us today. This workshop is being organized to honor the Kashmiri Women's Annual Day of Resistance, which takes place on February 23rd. It's a day that we began to honor in commemoration of the survivors of the Kunan and Pushpara mass rape incident. Um, and it's also a day that more broadly encompasses the resistance work that has been done by Kashmiri women from generations and generations. Today, we also bear in mind the nature of the transgressions against Kashmiri women's bodies and lives are not they're not isolated incidents. They're part of a larger system and pattern of violence under an occupation, and so when we think about what has happened to women like Asifa, the young girl that was targeted and raped a couple of years ago, and we think about the incarceration of Kashmiri women such as um, Asya Andrabi. When we think about just a couple of weeks ago, actually about a week ago, the kidnapping and targeting of a 9-year-old Kashmiri girl by the Indian military. These are all incidences that are connected by the fact that there's a colonial occupation that's ongoing, and the Kashmiri women are resisting this. And so,
Mute again. What is that?
sound test.
Yes.
Okay. Where did you hear me last? Can someone tell me?
About
What?
about the recent thing that you said, that recent 9-year-old girl.
Right, right. So apologies for the sound being a little off in our beginning, but we're getting it back on track. So you know the recent targeting of a 9-year-old Kashmiri girl by the Indian military forces is all part of a larger structure of a colonial occupation. And so our resistance is an anti-colonial resistance as Kashmiri women, and we're fighting the impunity with which these transgressions happen, and our resistance is quite complex, right? So we weave it in different ways. Today with us to just honor this day of resistance and resilience of Kashmiri women, we have a really great lineup of speakers. And we have an aunt with us from within our community who's going to teach us how to do embroidery with two really wonderful stitches, Kashmiri stitches. One of them is a stem stitch, and then the other one is a satin stitch. So that's what you can expect from our get together today. I'm going to introduce our speakers as we go. Our first session is going to be the embroidery workshop. So I'd like to invite our aunt to get us started on that.
Okay. Hello, assalamu alaikum, everybody. So I just came to help in doing some needlework with you guys, and because needlework is so much connected with Kashmiri culture and everything, you know, it's what we have been doing for centuries, I would say. So today I'm going to try to teach you two stitches. One is stem stitch and satin stitch. And no, I'm not expert on this, first of all, but yeah, I was trying to find out from my shawl actually what stitches are there. So then I did find that there was a stem stitch there, and satin stitch also. So I thought, okay, let me try. So, and we are going to try to draw this design first. It's a resistance woman showing resistance. That design we are going to draw. It's something like that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I will try to draw it, and then I can teach you how to do the needlework on it. To make it simple, I thought we all do not draw, so make it simple. So I would show you how to draw this. Okay? This is what we have to draw. So those of us who do not know drawing, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we make sort of a rectangle here. That would be her body. And a pattern in a way. And a circle over here. So then you could do sort of a, triangle over here, but not end it. And yeah, and upside down sort of a U on top of her head. And then it goes down. It goes down. That's her veil, hijab, head cover, whatever you may call it. And then there's over here, you go another V down. That's the neck. And her arm, one arm goes up in resistance, like that. Oh, her arm becomes skinny. No problem. But anyway. And then her hand, like that. Just so another hand, arm over here, down. Yeah. If you think how to draw it, think it's like a, V or A, then, try to do it that way. Two parallel lines and two parallel lines, and that is it. And the mouth, nose, just whatever. Whatever. Okay. And then little embroidery of the pattern. Pattern is a cultural thing. It helped us with the gold and other weathers. So That is entail. So, any problems in drawing? Are you okay in drawing? I'm going to draw on my little cloth. So, anyway, so try drawing it. Then I will try to show you how the stem stitch goes. Everybody okay with it? Okay. Any questions, anything? Okay, first time.
It doesn't seem like we have any questions, but that looks really good.
Okay.
I have mine over here as well, so
okay.
I'm gonna try the step, the stitch that you're gonna share with us.
Okay. Now I'm going to teach you stem stitch. Long ago, I had learned 50 stitches, but then I never did them so much. I hardly did them. So it's only for this I came. I just try to volunteer. So I'm not perfect. Okay, the stitch goes like this. It goes. Oh, I can show it on the paper first for you to understand it. Really. So let me make you understand how the stitch goes. Stem stitch goes like this.
Okay.
From here to here.
It's a little hard to see, Auntie. Can you bring that up once you when you're doing the stitching? Bring it closer to the camera.
Yeah.
What should I bring closer to the camera?
The
The
paper that
paper.
you're gonna stitch on, or show us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. That's good.
So the needle goes in from the bottom. The needle goes in from the bottom, comes out over here, okay, and it goes. Stitch goes here, then it goes here, and then it goes from under, and then it comes out again here, and then goes again here. So same thing happens, is repeated. This is called stem stitch.
Mm-hmm.
It goes in, goes out on it, and then goes backwards. It goes from the bottom, and then it goes up like this.
Does the stitch remind you of something?
Yes. So this stitch, I wanted to tell you that this reminds me of resistance, because as resistance also, it goes up. Then you think, oh, then something happens and you say, oh, it's no more. But then it finds its strength and path, and then it comes back like that. It does go under for some time. Takes some time, it goes under, but then it comes back again. Same way it goes under and then comes back again. So don't ever get discouraged that it's not there. It is there, and it will stay there, and it will go ahead, inshallah, till we get our azadi. So that's it. Stem stitch goes here, goes inside, comes back again. We have seen it, how it comes back again, and it will come.
And the length of each stitch has to be uniform, like same?
Yeah, try.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, try. So that's one stitch we are going to do. So do I tell you about the other stitch right now, or do you want me to?
No, we finish this.
It will be like, it depends on people to people.
Yeah, do it. Show us, and then we'll practice it when we get started on the embroidery.
Okay. So the other stitch is called Saturn stitch. Okay, and Saturn stitch, yeah, it's called what chicken in Kashmiri. What chicken? I don't know what the stem stitch is called in Kashmiri. So
what chicken? Is that right?
What means jumping?
Acha.
So the stem, it does like this. Goes under. Goes under.
Yeah.
Then comes back here, and then goes again. Nearby. Then goes again down,
Mm-hmm.
then comes up again like this. So it
Mm.
forms like this. That's called what chicken.
But it's not the same point, right? Like you just
No, it keeps on going little away so that it fills the area.
okay.
Yeah, it's called water chicken. I hope I'm saying that word right. Water chicken.
We will know that in the comments.
That's okay. We'll learn. That's how we learn. If you don't try, we don't learn. So
I hope everyone has their needle and fabric ready to go to try this. I hope
I
you've
will
drawn.
show you this. I'll show you this on this also, like making it bigger. Can you see it?
Mhm.
So that then I'll do it on mine. Big stitch goes. I'll make it big so that you can see it. So it goes up, then it goes inside, but you have to make it small actually. It goes inside, but I'll make it this time big for you to see. Goes here, then it goes back, little
How
backwards.
therapeutic this is.
I'm really enjoying the movement too.
Yeah, I know.
See, then it goes down, then it comes back up.
But the struggle is real.
Yeah.
I'm not able to put this.
The struggle is real.
And you
It is
understand,
real.
and we understand the stem, how important the stem is for a plant,
Mm-hmm.
So it holds everything. So there it goes. It goes ahead, goes backwards, maybe little ducks little in, gather itself, goes ahead. Remember, we are going ahead day by day, whatever anybody may think or tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. So that's it, huh? Do you understand it? Any questions? Okay, then I'll start it on my one also.
Stems
Not,
is easy. I want to know the.
I do paint more. I would do paint more than I would do needlework. But now you have called me, so here I am.
Mm-hmm. So Auntie, you're gonna start the stitching on the fabric now.
Yeah, I'll start on my fabric now.
Is this a good time to do our singing?
Yeah, you can start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zia, you wanna? So let me
Sure.
introduce our one of our panelists who's gonna cue a
Oh,
song for us as Auntie does this embroidery work. We're going to transition into another speaker, Uzma Falak, just shortly. But before that, I'd just like to quickly introduce Zia, who's also one of our speakers today. Zia is a Kashmiri woman who is also a human rights advocate and essentially is very passionate and focuses on looking at the way oppression affects people intersectionally and how we might resist that, and does advocacy work to do the resistance work across the world. So Zia, take it away. Help us with the song while we do our embroidery.
All right. Thank you so much, Panish, for that introduction. Let's begin.
which song?
But
Zanawanan. Just quickly about the song, Zanan Wanan is a Kashmiri women's collective who released a song called Kashmiri Bella Kayo in 2019, and we're going to be singing that. Tell us a little bit about the song, Zia, that you're about to help cue and sing with us.
okay, this song resonates with each and every Kashmiri, and this song really brings up the fire in everyone. And inshallah, when we sing, you can feel it too. So if you want, the translation is up there for you to understand what it is. So we will sing the song now. Bismillah. Tu Sahara, 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 Bulan Fallen, Zabir yelzalan Shahid
Shahid
Karan
Kashi
Azan
Azad.
Suput Manzil Kunant Pushpur Chin Mashmit Manzin Manshiyad Yad Ratnavan Vapas Nalvan Suban Shaman Devan Siman Aisenat Sanin Pulwin Gola Nintu Aftab Kabran Manstravan Bun Bukim Nalan Afrat Asna Yamanan Hardam Chavatan Alam Hitch Pakat Shatavan Yali Azadi Rani Kashmiri Yizev kabran perte dizev esenat nazat manzil shahido Mohim vich manzil tu hum shahadat vich anjam.
MashaAllah, very
Thank
well
you so
done.
much. Thank you so much for that. That was
It's a
beautiful.
beautiful song written by amazing people. Like, I'm so proud of them. This is really a beautiful song. And I got an
Thank you.
opportunity to sing this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Leah, for leading that. Our next speaker today is, as I mentioned, Uzma Falak. Uzma was born and brought up in Srinagar. She currently is a DAAD Dad Scholar Fellow at the University of Heidelberg, where she's pursuing a PhD in anthropology. Her poetry, essays, and reportage has appeared in the Baffler magazine, in the 80 magazine, Al Jazeera English, Warscapes, The Economist, and Political Weekly, among other places. She's also won an honorable mention in the Society for Humanistic Anthropology's Ethnographic Poetry Award. Her film, Till Then, The Roads Carry Her, have been screened at the University of Copenhagen, University of Warsaw, Karlsruhe, Tate Modern, among other places. Welcome, Uzma. Take it away. Tell us what you will be sharing with us today, and really excited to hear you.
Thank you so much, Binesh, for having me, and it's really wonderful to be here today. Thank you, Auntie, for that wonderful introduction into embroidery, like really subversive and powerful, and thank you so much for that powerful song. I'm going to read out one of my pieces called Recorded Rotten Stereo Sounds, a rape survivor's testimonial. It is basically a piece that is based on the testimonies of the rape survivors of Kunan and Poshpur. And in 2014, actually, the Army Council, at the hearing of the case, said that these testimonies, these survivors' testimonies, were like rotten recorded stereo sounds that play rape all over again. So I'm going to use that statement as a starting point for this poem and try to understand the violence that is also lodged in language itself. So this piece is divided into 12 parts, and I'm going to kind of end it with some excerpts from another piece, which is called Alif Se Azadi. So I'm going to just read this and then end it with excerpts from the other piece. So here I go. Colonial nostalgia. Like some supremely beautiful woman whose beauty is almost impersonal and above human desire. Such was Kashmir in all its feminine beauty of river and valley and lake and graceful trees. But the delayed medical examination proves nothing. These medical findings are typical among villagers. A massive hoax, 4th Rajputana rifles, well-concocted bundle of fabricated lies, Army's 68th Brigade. Recorded rotten stereo sounds that play rape all over again. Act of witnessing. I'm Nasara, the room was dark. We were screaming for help and struggling from the brutal attacks of the alcohol-smelling soldiers. Rotten. I'm Atika. It was a bleak cold night. They ransacked the house and came for me with very harsh blows. They molested me in turns. Again. I'm Raj Begum. I was gang raped by all the men in the room. I heard in my state of faint senses laughter and loud noises from the men. Stereo sounds. I'm Shahmal, I'm a mother of 4. We all cried. They tore my clothes off me, and in the presence of my children threw me on the floor and molested me. Play rape. I'm Zarifa, I was gagged, beaten up, and raped. I have my whole body hurting from cuts. Recorded. I'm Bhakti Begum, it was the dead of night. They kicked the door open. They dragged the men from the house and molested us all. Recorded rotten stereo sounds that play rape all over again. We have orders from our officers to rape you. We have orders from our officers to rape you. We have orders from our officers to rape you. We are here to protect you. A jeet hai, a beat hai. I bear witness. I am a witness. I am my own witness, unswerving. Our wounds bleed and they will speak all over again. Rooms remind us. Our bodies bear witness all over again. We shall not forgive. We shall not forget all over again. My body defies your archive. My body is my memory. Memory is an episteme. Memory resides in our stoic stares, in the gaze of their bloodshot eyes, in the defiance of our bodies, in the weight of their sovereign torsos, in the prayer on our lips, our screams piercing heavens, in the stench of their alcohol breaths, in the persistence of our feet, in the sound of their boots and barrels, in the folds of our scarves and hems, in the god of their insignia, certifying carte blanche. Memory is a room invaded and turned to a battlefield. Memory is the battlefield. Recurring dreams of violation, insomnia, PTSD, long queues, prescriptions, sedatives, stethoscopic existence, probes, investigations, DNA tests, courtroom judgments, samples, interviews, sound bites, Zoom, slow motion, a medical examination by the police, broken limb of a fetus in the womb, wait of hours. Memory resides within concentric circles of violence. Notes on memory. Memory is an inscription on our bodies and landscapes, sky and earth. Memory is made of loss. Body is the memory of 1,000 cells, tortured, maimed, denied, raped, mutilated, frisked, humiliated, struggling, resisting. Memory is not a victim. Memory is a survivor, an insurgent. Memory is a sisterhood. Grandmothers, daughters, mothers, sisters, fathers, sons, grandfathers, brothers, shape of a wound, Kunan and Poshpur, Rambyar and Chenab, Daratpur, Handwar, Lolab, Doda, Uri, Srinagar, Kishtawar, Badgam, Ganderbal, Punch, Neelam and Jehlam, Mubina, evident. Memory is our wound. Wound is our memory, our free country. Feb 23, Feb 24, May 30, October 28, November 7. Memory is its own witness, indefatigable. Memory is an autumn of massacres and resilience, a winter of torture, rape, disappearances and resilience, a spring of siege and resilience, a summer of extermination and resilience. Memory is the opposite of time, an antonym of their preamble. Memory is a synonym of our history. Memory is our history, refusing to settle as sediment. Memory is home till home is only a memory. If we don't listen to the cry of wound, will we forget and forget that we have forgotten? Can exile exist without home as its referent? Does loss slow down time? Is poetry still possible? Manifesto. I refuse to be the exotic figure of beauty in your colonist fantasy. I refuse to be the victim you want to pity. I refuse to be the wounded psyche, your pathological specimen. I refuse to be your salvage project, your empowerment industry. I refuse your we will give you a voice, we shall set you free declarations. I refuse your glib talk on peace. I refuse your self help counseling lectures, your motivational talks. I refuse to be a fossil in your archive. I refuse to be your respondent, your footnote. I refuse to satiate your colonial notion of hospitality. I refuse to entertain you. I refuse to narrate to you what loss feels like, how love bleeds and statistics don't. I refuse to tell you how we imagine our liberation. I refuse you entry into the territory of my memory, my only homeland. I refuse your scrutinizing the anatomy of my resilient self. I refuse you penetrating into my imagination. I refuse your surveys. I refuse you permeating through my skin. I refuse decipherability to you. I shall remain forever indecipherable, and your rotten stereo sounds will play. But what do Kashmiris want? All over again. Prologue and coda. I do not protest. I reject you. So this is the end of the first piece.
That was beautiful. That was incredible. I have goosebumps. I kept my stitches going, and I felt with your words, I just kept moving even faster and faster. So thank you for sharing that incredible piece of work, Uzma.
I'm going to now end it with excerpts from another piece. Time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, do we have time to do that?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Please.
Okay.
Please, yeah, I want to hear more.
Okay. This is a longer piece, but I'm only going to read out some excerpts. How does one contestant live with a longing drenched in blood and sweat? Are they scared of our poems like our children? They who contest our songs like our existence, debating the origin? What will they do now? Will they seek a surgical intervention, separating with scalpels the rhythms from our pulses, the verses from the coarseness of our throats, the chorus from our veins? Will they take our songs to forensic labs, conduct DNA tests? How will they collect the samples? How many subjects? Will they send sniffer dogs to my grandmother to detect if she still clutches the fragrance of freedom in her furrowed fists? To see if her spinning still weaves dreams? Will they send an investigation team to find out if Ashfaq's mother still interlaces promises and possibilities into her braids? Will they look for potential evidence? A martyr's pairs of socks treasured for 22 years, a bullet-ridden Ferren still wet from yesteryear's rain, a grey flower refusing to wither? Will Ashraf's mulberry-stained palms make for strong evidence? The calm on Irshad's face as he was lowered into the grave, the emptiness of Tufail's room conversing with his mother's silence, a fistful of grass, a 5 rupee coin, the stubborn ivy growing on the walls of graveyards bearing our scream, rue turning ash as the martyr's mourning turns into celebration, as tears and laughter merge like ash and fragrance, in the quiver of our throats and tremble of our knuckles, the gusts in our hearts, the lingering fragrance on a worn-out prayer rug. The gravedigger's sweat shining like a pearl on his brow, the dandelion flower Humaira blew after she burnt her poem on her martyr mother, the flight of moths circling the hearth where Mughal mas used to sing, the raindrops lashing against the window, trembling on the windowsill where Sartaj's sister sings elegies, around the street corner where Hamid, embracing his mother, said, "Oh, mother dear, hug gently, for my heart might explode." Will they know if our dead children whisper lullabies from heavens and lull their mothers to sleep? Will they calm? Will they calm their mothers down? Will they claim these lullabies as their integral part? Will they conduct 100 probes, 1,000 inquiries like they do each time they try to annihilate us? Will our songs be tried in the courtrooms, sent to the gallows? Will they interrogate our verses in their primetime highlights under their tricolored camera spotlights? Or will they reduce them to a few hasty footnotes? How does one contest an abyssal longing drenched in blood and sweat? We know the pain of erasure, we the poets of persistence, we who outran our destiny, we who cradle the ache of an unsung longing, a lingering history, we who bear the burden of outliving our children, we who survived a genocide of colors, a massacre of language, we who enwomb within us evanescence, we who have tricked forgetting, we within whom flows a dark river of impossible love. We, the wandering minstrels of hope, we, the balladeers of dawn, we, the elegists of night, we, the bards of loss, we hear you, do you? You may embrace our poems, sing our songs, but do not asphyxiate them like bodies in the gas chambers of Auschwitz and Majdanek, like tear gas smoke choking our uteri. Do not disfigure our elegies like the pellet-ridden faces and backs of our boys, like barrels shoved into our wombs. Do not electrocute our beats like our bodies in Papa Tu Harinivas. Do not torture them by strapparo. Do not crush them under rollers. Do not waterboard them. Do not sear them in secret torture chambers. Do not violate our rhythms like vanguards of your peace violate our landscapes. Do not lay siege on them like our cities. Do not desecrate our poems like you desecrate our dead. Stand upright like Alif, the first letter of Azadi. Sing fearlessly. Do not exorcise us out of our songs. Our songs are not just our protest songs. They are our birth songs, our death songs, our wedding songs, our funeral songs. Our lullabies, our mourning, our celebration, our screams, our silence, our malady, our panacea, our unwritten history, our militant memory. Otherwise, History will never forgive you, neither will our roses. Our screams will haunt you, your children and their children. The smoke from our incinerated poems will choke you for 100 years. Break your TV sets, burn your newspapers, read the writing on the wall, hear the voices on the streets. Will you still ask us, Azadi ka matlab kya? As I recall the faces of dead, funerals of children, furrowed faces in wait, as I invoke the ghosts, as I evoke the longing, as I write Azadi, leaves shimmer in the distance against an unfamiliar sky. Rain brims my teacup, my toes converse with the wet blades of grass and clovers. In the garden, a child learns to walk. A butterfly rests on my knee. I have not known anything as intimate as this. No, I won't break down.
Let's get a round of applause for her. That was just
Great.
Amazing.
mashallah. That was amazing. I feel alive. I feel seen. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really moving.
Thank you.
Let's check in quickly with Auntie to see how her embroidery is coming along. And if any of you ladies are doing your pieces, feel free to share them with us on the chat. You can tag us on any of our social media places at K Goldposh on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or YouTube or Instagram. Here's where I'm at in my work right now. I don't know if you can see that. I've got an outline with the stem stitch going. And Auntie, can you please show us where you're at with yours, the expert?
Can you see it?
Sure. No, we can't see us. Yeah, now we can.
Wow. Beautiful. Zia, do you want to share where you're at with yours?
Yeah.
Wow, that looks lovely. And now our third speaker, Rimsha, who I'm going to be introducing.
I want to show you
next.
I'm a little bit
Wow, that looks incredible. That looks incredible. Thank you. Let's transition into our next speaker for today. I'd like to introduce Rimsha Ahmed. She's a Srinagar-born Kashmiri woman. Art, her passion, her therapy, her goal. She aspires to connect and illuminate through her work, which includes visual and literary arts. Her work has been showcased as part of the Feminist Art Conference at the OCAD University in Ontario, Canada, and being seen art exhibit by Workman Arts. Over the years, she has been a speaker at many events, including the Being Heard feature, Artwork series, Ronkentur, I'm not pronouncing that correctly, storytelling, among other places. She hopes to continually create and engage in meaningful art making to bring about positive social change. Her artwork can be found on her Instagram page at Olive Tree Arts. Without further ado, Rimsha, please share what you have to share with us today.
Alrighty, I have two pieces here. One is called My Sister, My Friend. The other one is, I don't have a title for it, but it's on Kashmiri resistance, a piece on Kashmir that I have performed before. As a matter of fact, I've performed both of these in the past, so some of you who might know me from before may have heard these. So I'll start with My Sister, My Friend. You're able to hear me okay, right? Not too far.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Home, they said, is where you make it, but home always escaped you. The unbroken bones and bruises unseen, hope charred by burning cold hands, childhood stolen, lives forever stained. Doubt and dread held your hand, nowhere to go. Home always escaped you. Behind the smoke, face of innocence once lived. Flower petals made of cross stitches with hemmed edges, you traded speech for quiet. The quiet you mistook for peace. gentle roses growing thorns inwardly. Holes in your bones made you fluffy and numb, abused, ignored, ashamed, unworthy. Your lips kissed, calmed, consoled. Those lips you bit constantly, they bled and broke your being, but you bit them repeatedly. The untold stories that ballooned up inside you, filling empty spaces, stretching beyond comfort into painful cries. Your bones tell you to own them. My sister, my friend, your shadow is waiting for the night to pass to shelter your pain. Breath, death, cold candle, your shadow is a shade of light, regret and pain. It falls to cool and rises to cage, hidden, waiting for the sun to burn you away. My sister, my friend, your hands, clenched fists, holding hurt, pride a father sowed in you. Guilt of ancestry, humility, a mother feeding you love with her hands. My sister, my friend, hands, clenched fists, holding shame of womanhood, fear of speaking at nails, digging into palms, not letting out and hands, clenched fists, holding past regrets, anxieties, future calamities. Only present dew slips through, adding to regrets of past, clenched in hands. My sister, my friend, this shame is not yours. This pain is not yours. It belongs to the society, to those who began the cycle of ignorance, of violence, of selfishness, of hate. My sister, my friend, your power itself, you are poetry. You're painted in colors of petals, designed in patterns, paced most diligently. You are lighthouses, you are light itself. My sister, my friend, your hands ask to let prisoner fingers go. They have words to paint, colors to shape, lines to write on, sound waves. My sister hands ask to let prisoner fingers extend and bend and wander the woods they always felt at peace in. Open up, say those hands, fall in love with the scars of broken stones that carved you, of turning streets of shattered possibilities. Find dreams perched in lines your nails drew when you crushed past and future in those palms. Savor the dew. Don't let present slip through. My sister, my friend, my mirror, my faith. Home is here. Home is now. Home lives in your hands. That's the end of the first piece.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's lovely. I really appreciate you sharing that.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
Yeah, lovely.
And I have a second one here. Let me begin something like this. Pain runs in my veins. It's not blood anymore. It's volcanoes sitting dormant, building, expanding a little each moment, unsure when it all will implode. And I fight. Wails upon wails, stages upon stage, scripts you hear, scripts I repeat and I fight. Breathless, breath escapes, nerves, nerve endings, feeling endless nervous energy, endless, smile, stop, go, pacing, breath, step, touch, pacing, endlessly. Blink, water sitting on the edge, fighting to escape prison cells. Prison cells, currents, waves, prisoned endlessly. Endless struggle to escape and I fight. Blink, gasp, breath is my enemy. Beat races, arms numb, but I fight. Another day, another massacre, another bloodbath, another murder. Monsters wander the streets where children once played. Sky bleeds red. Bodies, bodies, broken bodies, bent bodies, bodies. Insomnia. Awake, not woken, nightmares over and over. But I fight. The silent smiles, they kill each thought that fights to be heard. How long do you commit murder and not feel a thing? How long do you stay shut and keep the peace? The peace you mistook for quiet, and the quiet you always think is peace. Grenades blow, frozen valley moves with floods, painted smile washed out, cocooned in darkness, fears of tomorrow holding hostage this faith. Elastic soul wrapped around, resilient, adapting with gratitude for all that is, for all that will be. Freedom on the horizon, so watch me fight. Hands raised in devotion to the sanctity of life, screams in my heart, songs under my tongue, screams in my heart, songs under my tongue, playing on repeat under the noise of this breath. And each moment I fight for you, I fight for me. Hidden in light, afraid of dreams, nightmares are a blessing. Freedom awaits, and I fight. I fight. I fight. Thank you. That's the end of the two pieces that I had today.
MashaAllah.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, both those pieces. I'm just going to say that again. I feel so seen and heard in the way both you and Uzma crafted and weaved words together to tell our stories. I really appreciate that. I'd like to go and check in again, just very quickly with Auntie and see how her work is coming along. Wow, look at that, Auntie.
That's amazing.
This is all. This is all stem stitch. I didn't start the satin stitch as yet. I think I should leave this and start satin stitch maybe.
Beautiful. So
And do any of the other ladies want to share where they're how far they've come along?
I'm still where I was before because I was speaking, but I'm right here. Can you see it?
Yes.
It's all over it right here.
Oh, that looks lovely. What about you, Zia? Where are you at?
I'm here.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
You are really far along.
The neck.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at how quickly my hand is moving. Maybe it's all that I'm feeling with
Oh, wow,
the,
that's really great.
yeah, it's coming along. So yeah, I'm trying to keep my energy grounded because these words are so moving. Our final speaker for today is Zia, who I've introduced already. Zia, take it away. Share with us.
All right. Those who are silent when others are oppressed are guilty of oppression themselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you everyone for coming to this meet. It's a real pleasure to share this platform with such passionate panelists. I was so amused by the talent that Rimsha and Uzma displayed. I'm so glad to share this panel with these two people, wonderful people, and with the other two, Auntie and Vinish as well. For decades, Indian occupation of Jammu and Kashmir has wreaked havoc for Kashmiris. This unrest and deteriorated atmosphere has altered people's lives to a great extent. The socioeconomic problems that have resulted out of this colonial occupation and war are ignored by the global community. They are not highlighted or addressed as they should be. Nonetheless, the consequences of the colonial occupation and war are lived every minute by Kashmiri women and have had an ongoing adverse effect on their mental and physical as well as their human development. I would like to highlight just a small fragment of the challenges Kashmiri women go through. These challenges have not broken them, but made them resilient. With more challenges, the resilience has grown. They are steadfast, brave, and strong women of Kashmir. Kashmir is among the rare places in the world where tens and thousands of civilians have gone missing from their homes and have never returned. Thousands of families in the valley, Kashmir, are still longing for their loved ones, but only God knows where they are. Are they alive? Or they have sunk beneath the soil, perhaps in the many mass graves that are discovered from time to time. In Kashmir, everyone lives in terror. Adding to the horror of Kashmiris, the world has shown little to no concern for the approximately 10,000 enforced disappearance. Kashmiris know it is a direct link between the presence of almost 100,000 armed Indian forces for approximately 800,000 Kashmiris in the valley and the death or disappearance of their family members. Arbitrary detentions by the Indian military forces and subsequent disappearance of Kashmiris are continued as we speak. The one thing that I admire most about Kashmir is that it continues to be mother of brave, fearless people. And from time to time, it has produced such gems. One such personality is Mrs. Parveena Ahangar, popularly known as the Iron Lady of Kashmir. And yes, rightly she is. Let me share a little story with you all. One day, a young boy named Yasser went to fetch bread in the morning and didn't return promptly. His mother started pacing with worry outside the house. What if the Indian armed force manning every corner had roughed him up, or even worse? Her fear is the fear of every single person living in shock in Kashmir and wondering what next. Eventually, he returned explaining that the delay was due to the long queue at the only bakery open in the entire area. Unlike Yasser, Javed, respected Parveena Ahangar's son, never returned. Nothing can make you used to the terror of nocturnal raids by Indian armed forces. It was 18th August 1990, at the height of an uprising against the Indian occupation. In the early hours of the morning, a neighbor came to tell that Javed, only 16-year-old, had been taken away by the National Security Guard. It's one of the many paramilitary forces operated by the Indian government in Kashmir. At first, she wasn't fearful, but knew her son had never quarreled with anyone, and this was a case of mistaken identity. Parveena Ahangar traveled every inch to search for her son, and she failed every time. She's not sure whether her son is alive or dead, and if he's no more, still she won't be able to find him, as there are thousands of unidentified and unmarked graves in Kashmir. During her search for her son, she visited a lot of police stations, courts, army camps, and other places aim at delivering justice, but every time justice was denied. Between 8,000 and 10,000 Kashmiris have been victims of enforced disappearance. She was never a political person, but the fire of her own suffering and the anguish of other parents prompted her to start the Association of Parents of Disappeared Person, ADPD. In 1994, she started visiting the families. In 1984, the ADPD was formed. She started, visiting the families of the disappeared in every part of Kashmir to listen, offer support and encouragement. Respected Parveena ji came to be known as a reputed human rights activist of the valley. Today, ADPD is a worldwide recognized human rights association, and the members of ADPD, under the headship of Parveena Ahangar, have visited several places in the world to mark their protest. She, along with many other families of Kashmir, are fighting for justice for 30 long years. And this criminal injustice is hurting many families, especially mothers, in a parallel manner. In the year 2005, she was nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. And in June 2014, Parveena Ahangar delivered a lecture at the University of Westminster in which she said, "Nobody understands a mother's pain. I am a victim. There are many like us. APDP originated out of my pain and pain of hundreds of mothers like me." In 2017, she was awarded Norway's Rafto Prize to honor her decades of campaigning for human rights in Jammu and Kashmir. In October 2019, she was also named one of top 100 most influential and inspiring women by BBC. We should salute and dignify the tenacity, courage, and bravery that people like Parveena Ahangar exemplify with a sharp feeling of sadness. Her story, like many other Kashmiris, is a powerful account of violence, loss, pain, fear, and longing. They tried to silence her by threatening her. They tried to buy her. They suggested she was a bad mother for neglecting her other children and for taking her infant daughter along with her to wait endlessly in front of police stations and the courts. They spread rumors about her motives. They harassed her. They raised false charges against her. They wanted her to give up. But she never stopped asking, "Where is my son?" I would like to dedicate a song to all Kashmiri mothers in pain, and I would like you all to join me. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. All right. Tehukam vuchumne वफादार मोची मैंने छाई लय संसार मोची वंदे सर आदन Chakai posh, I tip मैंने बुझ तेहुका वफादार मोची. I would like to conclude by saying, I believe the international community has the moral obligation and ethical responsibility to resolve this conflict with fairness, justice, and by investigating all the human rights violations that have been happening in Kashmir. The perpetrators of this human rights violation are held accountable and punished as per international law. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Just taking a moment to ground myself. Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing that heartfelt reflection and story. I'm very appreciative and agree with your sentiments that the international community is complicit in the ongoing genocide in Kashmir, and more needs to be done in solidarity with Kashmir. To wrap this event up, I'd like to invite you to go to our website, www.kashmirgoposh.com, and find out how you can participate in future events or actions. You can join our mailing list that you can sign up for, as well as just stay in touch with us. Now, I want to kind of go, before I wrap up the event, I'd like to check in with all the wonderful ladies that are doing their embroidery. I'm going to start with our facilitator expert, who is very humble. Auntie, please show us where your work is at this point in the gathering.
Okay, here you go. And that is satin stitch.
Okay.
So it's ongoing, in and out,
Yeah.
in and out, in and out.
Can you bring that closer to the camera so we can really see the stitch?
It looks gorgeous. I love the green and red.
Can you see it now?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
You said you're not an expert, but this is a job of an expert. It's really amazing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I have learned it. I have learned it maybe.
See how uniform your stitches are. That's so good.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for teaching us today. What about Rimsha and Zia? Would you like to share where your work is at this point?
I'm sorry, I was busy talking.
Oh,
So
no
I'm still at
problem.
that.
MashaAllah. Yeah, that looks lovely.
Looks great. Mine's right here. I'm not all
Oh,
done.
wow, that's good.
And you did a big cloth, eh? A big piece.
I can see that coming. Yeah, that's great.
My dog.
I'll show mine as well. I've got the
Wow,
outline done, but I have to do the
you are so fast, Vinesh.
Yeah.
yeah.
Much quicker than all.
I think my design is pretty small. Like I've drew the outline pretty small, so it was easier
was
to go
smart.
through the outline. Yeah. Well, just to wrap up, I have a poem that I've written that I was kind of considering whether we should share or not, but we're just at the hour, and I think that it might be a good way to kind of close the evening. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is a work that was published with Feral Feminism's journal. Um, and so it's called Coloring Resistance, a reflection on art and activism. I'm going to take a quick sip of water.
And meanwhile, do you want to, think about any message you want to give to Kashmiri women and other living inside and outside Kashmir? Just think somebody, if there is.
Yeah.
That would be good. Okay.
So I'm going to speak slowly. Resistance to me is glitter. It's sparkle, it's shine, it's happiness, it's love. In spite of all the hate, the violence, of suppression, of oppression. Resistance is alchemy. It is making use of the fertile light of joy to produce gold. Resistance is making something from nothing. It is planting seeds of intent to bloom in stinking dung. It is converting shit into beautifully scented, colorful, blossoming flowers. It is noticing that shit stinking dung could be a fertilizer. Resistance is not seeing mistakes as failures we cannot survive from. It is seeing mistakes as openings for miracles, as rich opportunities, possibilities for accountability, for taking responsibility, for learning and teaching moments. Resistance feels joyful. It is silver, gold, blue, red, purple, green, and pink. Resistance is colors, getting to know one another holistically, informed by a decolonial praxis, moving beyond the boundaries of state-sanctioned curriculums and corporate media strategies. Resistance is colors bleeding into each other, adjusting for opacity, layering one another, allowing each other to shine, complementing, contrasting, not competing or erasing each other. Resistance is non-conforming, complicating but not confusing. Resistance is blending powerfully. It is birthing, creating new colors, but also standing out separately. Resistance looks like a woman's body birthing a child during a war, making room for life in a time of looming death. Where time is treated as money and your net worth is reduced to your productivity, the supposed worth of your time. Resistance is pausing. It is taking deep breaths. It is slowing down, refusing externally imposed pressures. It is noticing what the body needs in this moment to bloom, to survive, to thrive. Resistance is undoing undesired hegemonic layers of control, dominance, greed, and hierarchy. Resistance is relations that are shoulder to shoulder and not hierarchical. It is ways of relating that are simultaneously mindful of unequal and deep wisdoms held in unique ways by conventional and unconventional knowledge bearers. Resistance is colors refusing disconnection from and theft of our lands. It is refusing access to our bodies, the land, or revoking consent after giving consent initially. Resistance is demanding redress for wrongful exploitations and violations. It is colors, self-representing, self-governing, and self-determining. Resistance is colors being radical in seeking justice. It is colors collaborating, coexisting, co-creating magic. Resistance is colors being alchemy. Resistance to me is colored bodies loving all the parts of us that no one wants. Resistance to me is a healing love. It is relating to all the parts of me and you in ways that are not expected or anticipated, but willed anyway by our bodies who so choose with queer desires. Resistance is glowing as if we are dancing in love. It is being a boundless love. It is firing, tasting, treasuring, radically restorative imaginaries. Resistance is holding space for my beautiful life, my body, and those bodies who have been willed not to survive or thrive. Resistance is a critically conscious, angry body. It is a reflective longing. It is nurturing a sustained critical awareness, a practical practice of self-education, a practice of radical self-preservation and self-love. Resistance is striding with a raw, grounded strength which refuses the gaze of others. It is a colorful resilience. It is glowing shamelessly and unapologetically. Resistance is being here right now. It is being alive. Thank you.
Mashallah. Great.
With that, I just want to offer all the panelists and our ANT facilitator to offer any closing remarks. And I'll start with you. Auntie, can you take us back to your work and share some concluding remarks?
So, can you see it? Here?
Yes, yes, we can see it. That looks wonderful.
So this is just a lady showing resistance, and so we all, I feel in Kashmir and outside anywhere where Kashmiris are and other human beings are who who are humane, and they.
Auntie, would you move the camera up? We can't see your face right
Oh,
now.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
focusing on the needlework basically. Who are
Yeah.
like who understand like all human beings are same, and they care for human beings, as such. So rights of human beings should be given, whatever the reason, you know, and like it's not. Nobody should tell me that, oh, you cannot solve Kashmir because it's old story. What are you talking? It's a human, and they keep on talking about India, Pakistan, and all that stuff. They need to talk about human beings of Kashmir. They need to see all the sufferings they are having, and if anybody wants freedom, they should have freedom. There is no point. Oh no, this is the like they talk as if there are no human beings there, and they talk, oh, India wants this, Pakistan wants this, or America wants this, Russia wants this, China wants this. All this keeps on going on news. Nobody talks about Kashmiris, what they want and what they have been asking for. It doesn't matter if this time, because of feeling scared, people are not able to say anything. They know whenever they say something, they are they are arrested, killed, and much more. So Kashmiris all over need to gear up themselves much more and work for their freedom. And we women are looking for you also, and we are with you. I'm telling this to our men, our children, our old people. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you for those remarks, Auntie. I really appreciate that. You're absolutely right. I mean, this struggle is intergenerational. There have been so many lives that have been lost before us, and we want justice and dignity. Zia, I'd like to go to you next. Any concluding remarks?
I was already so overwhelmed. I wasn't expecting, but knowing the kind of situation that someone's going through and just being a human. I don't have to be a mother or a woman or someone to just feel the pain of the people. I don't even have to be a Kashmiri.
Yeah.
I just have to be a human to feel the pain of another person. We are from the same. We are human. We are human race. No matter color, no matter your culture, no matter your religion, we all are the same. If we feel each other's pain and understand what we can do for each other, is when life is going to be easy for everyone. With so much happening, with so many people being sad, how can everyone be happy? We all want to be happy. So help each other and you will find that soul in you happy as well. Try doing it. And thank you so much for having me here, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Zia. I really appreciate that. Is Uzma is having some internet trouble? Would you like to share some concluding remarks, even if it's through just audio? She's not there. Okay. And Rimsha, finally, just some concluding remarks from you.
I just like to echo all the sentiments that my daughter is here, so I'm not going to be able to focus on it, that she's in the background, but I just echoing the same sentiments that previous speakers have stated. I'm sorry, she's going to speak. I can't stop.
Okay, let her speak.
Yes, and I'm glad to have this platform. I mean, we need more people speaking in this sort of a way, having community come together and doing more of these events that bring more attention and awareness on different levels on this issue. And I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone for sharing your work. This is where my embroidery is at this point. It's pretty much done. I have to do the satin stitch to fill it in. And once again, just as an action to follow up, we will be doing possibly more live feeds. We're also interested in hearing from you what you thought of today's get together. What are particularly for the Kashmiris, we're interested in finding out what are things that you want to see happen. What are things that you're thinking about? What are things that you're dealing with? So please do share. Our email address is contact@kashmirgoldpost.com, or you can leave a comment on any of our social media platforms. And please do go on the website and sign up for our mailing list. With that, I'd like to say goodbye. Fi amanallah. Thank you so much for joining us, and take care.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.